Aramazd Andressian Sr., nicknamed Piqui, wasn't just a precious child.
One of Piqui's favorite songs was "You Are My Sunshine," and that's exactly what he was, and that's what he is. He's a bright, beautiful ray of sunshine.
Piqui was an old soul, a magnet for people and animals. He loved nature and planting gardens.
His smile just radiates, changes everything. You know, you have a bad day, you see him, everything changed. It was just, he was like, he made any day better.
He was the only child of Aramazd Andressian Sr. and Ana Estevez.
She wanted this child, and it was her life. She put everything into that.
Anna's journey to motherhood was hard-fought.
She had been through in vitro, spent thousands of dollars to get pregnant, had 5 miscarriages.
Yeah.
Not long after Piqui was born, the marriage between Ana and Andressian soured. The couple divorced and the court ordered joint custody. Under the terms of the visitation agreement, the couple was to exchange the child on neutral turf.
They always had a mutual meeting place.
Yeah, there was always a mutual agreement to meet at either a police station or somewhere in public.
The divorce was a bitter one. Ana didn't trust Andressian. She had a dash cam installed in her car to record all exchanges of the child. One spring morning, the couple agreed to a rendezvous point for Andressian to pick up his son for a trip to Disneyland. Piqui and his father had a full week to spend together.
He was supposed to return the child after 7 days, and the return was supposed to take place in San Marino at 8 that morning.
Ana arrived at the designated location anxious to see her son.
She waited for hours at this drop-off place in San Marino to receive her child.
But father and son never arrived. Ana had not heard a word from either of them.
Obviously, Ana became very, very concerned. She reported to the police that her son was missing.
Just a few miles west in South Pasadena, investigators were working another bizarre case. Someone had reported a man lying in the road. That man was Aramazd Andressian.
Aramazd Sr. was found in the parking lot at Arroyo Park in South Pasadena. He was near his car, which was an older model BMW.
He passed out. He was found about 35 feet from the car.
Aramazd Sr. was semi-conscious and appeared to be somewhat delusional when he was found by a passerby.
Court documents reveal Andressian's hands were scratched and his fingernails were filled with dirt.
He had a small laceration or abrasion to the top of his head. He had some scratches to his forearms, his hands, and he complained of bruising to his ribs.
No defensive wounds.
No defensive wounds.
Little Piqui was nowhere to be seen, and to make matters worse, his father appeared in no condition to explain why.
He was also found to be under some other opiates, some other prescription medications as well.
Andressian was transported to a hospital. When he came to,
Initially, did Aramazd Sr. say that he was robbed or some people accosted him or approached him?
His initial statement to police officers when they responded to the hospital after he had been transported was he didn't know what happened.
could Andressian have lost his only child because of a pill-induced stupor?
He kept on saying, I just fell asleep and woke up and detectives were talking to me.
Police documents show Andressian made a curious comment to the booking officer, quote, I bet they think of me like some kind of Casey Anthony, and then stated he was, quote, probably all over the news by now.
What was he acting like? Was Aramazd Sr. acting like a father who was distraught and searching for his son?
He never asked about the condition of his son or whether or not his son had been located.
Andressian turned the focus on his ex-wife as a possible suspect.
He felt he had been set up. Anytime we would question him, he would go back and ask us to look at Anna. He would start talking about the divorce, how contentious it was, that he had been followed.
Police held Andressian on suspicion of child endangerment and child abduction, but not for long. They had to cut him loose.
There just wasn't enough evidence to arrest him and to try him.
He's very happy to be out of custody so that now he can focus his sole attention on trying to find his son.
At this point, we're treating this as a missing person investigation.
Where is Piki Andressian? Is he dead or alive?
There's nothing specific that is leading us either way.
You just lay in bed and all you think about is where is he? Is he eating? You know, does he have a warm blanket?
A massive 24/7 search is launched. The 5-year-old disappeared after a visit with his father to Disneyland.
He can't think of anyone that would harm him.
Would he harm him?
Absolutely not.
Aramazd Andressian had no criminal record.
Never been arrested before. Never even received a speeding violation or any kind of ticket.
But police suspected Andressian did harm his child, and even though they didn't have the evidence to arrest him, they never let him out of their sight.
What the detectives did was spend the next 2 months just building a case piece by piece, watching his behavior, talking with other people who knew him.
One thing was clear while Piki's mother worked day and night to find her son.
Be brave, honey. Know that Mama and a lot of people are working very hard to bring you home.
For Andressian, finding his son was not a priority. Partying in Vegas was.
There was even an occasion where he went skydiving.
Right from the beginning, within a week, he was at the T-Mobile Arena watching a boxing match. From going there to with prostitutes to skydiving, the amount of drugs he was using out there. Everything was just surreal with his daily activities of someone who had told investigators that his son just magically disappeared.
Suspicion grew deeper when cell phone records showed Andressian turned off his phone just before the trip to Disneyland.
So no pings.
No pings at all. And he planned this, and we knew he planned this.
And Andressian had created a will days before the visit with his son. But his older model BMW was an investigative gold mine.
What was found on the car and in the car?
His car was found doused in gasoline. The interior was fully doused, the exterior was fully doused. There were 2 gas containers inside the car, and he had a rag sticking out of the gas cap.
Investigators found knives and an LED lantern still lit.
It told us whatever he did with his child, he did under the cover of darkness.
There was a child's sweatshirt with a white film on the back which appeared to be vomit. And then a startling and emotional discovery.
There was an ultrasound picture of Piki directly on the front dashboard under the radio. And we found that significant.
He was holding on to the first image he had of Piki in this world.
Right.
Now detectives are working under the theory that Andressian murdered his child and had planned to kill himself, but they had to prove it.
Was DNA evidence used at all in this case?
There was no DNA at all.
What about computer forensics?
We found a couple of computers, and a huge concern to us in the middle of this investigation was that he was searching wilderness areas in Santa Barbara County.
It was a significant clue. Detectives believe the internet search of secluded, heavily wooded areas 2 hours north was part of a calculated plan.
He was searching for a place to bury or leave his son's body.
Search teams scoured 30 miles of terrain and nearby Lake Cachuma. Police gather multiple surveillance images recorded in the lake area, and they're troubled by what they see, or in this case, what they don't see.
All our surveillance, we did not see Piki at all. We only seen the father the entire time.
Investigators were certain Piki was dead, and now they've developed a timeline. Believing Andressian leaves Disneyland with his son at 1 a.m. It takes him 5 hours to arrive at the Lake Cachuma area, where detectives say he murders his child and disposes of him in a remote wooded area. He reappears at 8 a.m. on a surveillance camera at the lake. Andressian is alone. Then he drives to South Pasadena, where police find him unconscious at 6 a.m. the next morning.
His intentions were to kill himself after he killed the child. He was going to light that car on fire. He was going to take as many prescription medications as he can to the point where he was about to pass out, and then light that car on fire.
So what happened? He passed out before he could light it on fire?
He passed out.
2 months after little Piki Andressian went missing, police arrest his belligerent and defiant father in Las Vegas on a no-body murder charge.
He was on prescription medications. He wasn't clear-headed. He was hostile towards us. He called us animals. He said something to the effect of, we spent $7 million to find his child and we still couldn't find him.
Taunting you for all your efforts.
He was.
And so much for those plans to kill himself. Andressian had bleached his hair and applied for a passport.
The detectives were concerned that Aramazd Sr. might try to flee to Iran or to Russia to avoid being extradited back to the United States.
After 2 months of reckless self-indulgence in Las Vegas, Aramazd Andressian was arrested for the murder of his son, even though 5-year-old Piki's body was yet to be found.
So when we did that stretch, how many miles did that make?
Los Angeles County Sheriff's homicide detectives Lou Aguilera and Mark Boisford had worked the case tirelessly from the beginning. They were hoping to see an end.
We interviewed him at the jail in Las Vegas, and that interview once again went nowhere.
Once he was brought back to LA County, his initial plea at arraignment was not guilty.
Andressian gave up nothing about the location of his son. Punishment for Piki's family still clinging to a sliver of hope. Benny believing perhaps Andressian's mother might be hiding the child.
All I thought was that he was safe, you know. I thought nothing could happen to him.
No matter how unrealistic it might be, I think that victims' families will hold on to hope as long as they possibly can. Just the way he behaved, it was clear that he knew that nobody was going to find his son alive.
It was time for the child's mother, Ana Estevez, to face the crushing reality.
I was brutally honest with her. I told her, I hope I'm wrong, but I think he killed your son.
You had to be honest.
I had to. I don't want to, and I didn't want to give her a false sense of hope.
Anna was mired in grief, but displayed unwavering dignity, continuing to search for her child.
My son knew me as a strong woman, a woman who didn't give up, and I need to be that person for him. That's who he knew, and that's who he would expect me to be, and that's who I'm trying to be.
With their suspect behind bars, detectives are left pondering just what kind of calculating chess game Andressian would force them to play in order to get Piki home. But in this case came a shocking, almost surreal turn of events. There would be no gamesmanship or resistance. Aramazd Andressian's defiance was spent.
He wanted to talk about the case, and he wanted to let me know where his son was buried and what happened.
There was no plea deal offered to him, no promises of leniency, nothing. Andressian stunningly wanted to confess. Then what he told cops was nothing short of evil.
The manner in which he killed him was particularly cruel. His son was asleep in a car seat in the back of the car. His father, who was supposed to be protecting him, who's supposed to be taking care of him, stops the car, gets out of the car, and then uses Aramazd Jr.'s sweatshirt to smother him. And not only that, but once he had finished smothering his son and let go, when he let go, his son, his body was still twitching, so Aramazd Sr. smothered him again.
And finally, Andressian told sheriff's detectives where to find little Piki.
The area was an observation point for the Bradbury Dam. It's called Vista Point. It's mountain-esque.
Precious Piki had been left alone in the cold, remote elements for 2 long months.
Was he buried at all?
He wasn't. He was laid out under a tree with some shrubbery on top of him. The suspect had changed him and put him in pajamas and rested him there up against a tree.
A wretched, unthinkable murder of his own flesh and blood. But why did he confess? The prosecution's case was strong, but largely circumstantial, and no body murder cases are rare.
Was that to save the public, the family, from a trial, or did he do this for selfish reasons? What was he facing?
Aramazd Sr. was and actually is one of the most selfish people I've ever seen. It's our belief that he pled guilty because he knew that if there was a trial, all of the horrible details about his behavior would become public in a trial, and he wanted to avoid that.
Cops knew Andressian's pride and image were more important than his son or his freedom.
I think it's what we did for the months prior. I think we broke him down. We made it a point to have the media on board with everything we did, and we made it a point to exploit him for what we knew he was. He didn't like being in the suicide vest that you see him wearing in court. It's demeaning to him, and he hates it. And he asked me, what can you do to get me out? Get me out of this suicide watch. I don't want to be wearing this. This is embarrassing.
If Andressian thought pleading guilty would spare him further public humiliation, he was sorely mistaken.
My family has lost a piece of themselves. I have lost a piece of myself. Today is my birthday. My first birthday in the last 5 years without my baby cousin.
It's sentencing day, and Piqui's family floods the courtroom with raw, heart-crushing emotion.
For Aramazd Andressian Sr, I pity you. You are a failure as a father, you are a failure as a man, and you are a failure as a human being. I hope you relive the image of you murdering my baby every day for the rest of your insignificant life. And when you die, may your dark soul burn in the eternal flames of hell, for I have no doubt that justice will be served on you both in this life and the next.
Then the words no one expected to hear.
My client would like to make a brief statement, Your Honor.
The riveted courtroom was eager to hear what this child killer had to say, but he changed his mind.
Mr. Andressian, you do have the right to make a statement. That statement must be under oath and subject to cross-examination. Do you wish to make a statement or to give any testimony or not? No? Okay.
Instead, Andressian's attorney tried to show good faith on his client's part.
I can't think of a situation that I know of or been in 20 years where a plea of guilty to first-degree murder happened so quickly. That was my client's wishes from the very beginning.
A comment that seemed absurd to family members and cops, considering the 2 months Andressian partied in Vegas while his son's body rotted away. Nothing Andressian or his lawyer had to say would have made any difference. The sentence was set in stone.
As to count 1, violation of Penal Code Section 187A, murder in the first degree, premeditated murder. The defendant is to be sentenced to state prison for 25 to life.
Andressian received the maximum sentence for a non-death penalty first-degree murder case.
There just wasn't enough evidence to prove the special circumstance that would have subjected him to the death penalty. Believe me, if there was, we would have filed it.
When it was finally over, Ana Estevez graciously paid tribute to 27 different police agencies who dedicated themselves to a very difficult case, especially these 2 LA Sheriff's homicide detectives who wouldn't sleep until justice was done.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. You are my heroes, and I am eternally indebted to you both.
But there's another bitter element to this horrific story. Ana had fought child services like a warrior for sole custody of her child. She so feared Andressian's ill intentions that she had a dash camera installed in her car so there was a record of every interaction. In the end, her fight for full custody was denied. Ana points a harsh finger at social workers.
I believe you are partially responsible for my son's death.
Ana's anger toward child services workers and the juvenile justice system was so deep, she delivered a public bashing to those she was forced to deal with.
How dare you say that once a case is closed, you do not reopen it, even after being asked repeatedly to further investigate allegations. How dare you say that Aramazd Sr. kicking my son on his bottom and pinching his cheeks and yelling in his face that he was a bad boy was not enough to change custody, that it was simply bad parenting.
As for Andressian, the sole purpose for his despicable actions was pure revenge.
It seems clear that Aramazd Sr.'s hatred for Ana Estevez, the mother of their child, was so strong that he was willing to do anything he could to hurt her.
Yes, he has hurt her irreparably and eternally, but Ana Estevez will not allow Aramazd Andressian the power to make her lose her soul or forget what she plans to do to keep the legacy of her precious son alive.
So this is the tree that I selected for Piki. I chose it because I thought it was something that Piki would love. He's a bright, beautiful ray of sunshine in the lives of everyone who met him, and even those who haven't, because he's brought a lot of love to a lot of people.
A special tree and stone serve as a memorial to a special son.
He may have been robbed his life, but he wasn't robbed his legacy. It will live on forever.
Unfortunately, the decisions that were made in my court case gave my ex-husband the tools to murder my son, and that should never happen. Every person needs to be an advocate, regardless of whether or not they have children. Everyone needs to protect children.